Welcome to the Upshift podcast, where changemakers meet and commune and find out how each other is doing their part in changing the world. And today's guest is Tiffiny Newton. She is a domestic violence survivor and has written the book Behind the Smile. And she's going to tell us about her story and her recovery and renewal. All right, Tiffiny.
Hi. Thank you so
Hey.
much for having me here.
So very glad for you to be here and for you to be open and vulnerable in this really tough subject and the innuendos and things we're going to get into today. So really appreciate your time with us. So welcome, and tell us a little bit about your story. Just highlight your story and how you got to where you are.
Yeah. So I never thought I would be in a domestic violence relationship. Like, I wasn't brought up around it. I didn't see those signs. I wasn't exposed to the red flags and what to look out for. I was kind of in my own little naivety bubble
Mhm.
growing up. My parents were married for 48 years before my mom passed away. And I've been through relationships and, looking back, some of the things that even happen in normal relationships can give you red flags, right? I mean, every relationship has green flags and red flags. It's when the red flags start piling up and coercive control and manipulation and emotional abuse and psychological abuse and physical abuse. I mean, there's so many abuse factors that go into that category. I wasn't exposed to any of those, so that wasn't even on the radar. So a little bit about my specific story that I wrote the book about. And it's not even like, my story isn't the book. It's a guide for those that have someone in that situation. And my story is woven through as an example so they can better understand it. But I met my abuser at the dog park. Who knew? Right? Dog people, animal people, you think are good people, but they abusers like animals too. I ignored red flags left and right, looking back and working with my therapist that I saw for many years after getting out of that situation. What were the red flags that jumped out? And so now they're neon. So I'm hyper aware of those. And I want to be able to help other people with that, because far too often we get exposed to red flags early on, middle school, high school. The very first one is, if you love me, you'll have sex with me. That's the first line of manipulation that most girls hear about.
Right, girls, not guys. Girls.
Yeah, girls. So, starting young, understanding what red flags are is really become a passion of mine to help women, girls, young ladies avoid the pitfalls. And a lot of that has to do with your own self-love, understanding your highs and lows of how you feel on a day-to-day basis, because the manipulator, the gaslighter, the narcissist, whatever situation the abuser's coming from, because there are many, they're going to pounce when your energy is low, when your self-confidence is low.
Mhm.
And it could be a single week of the entire year that it's low. Who knows? But that's when they pounce.
So define for us narcissist. What were the other two what you just used? Narcissist and
Goodness, I just the manipulator, abuser, narcissist. I mean, there are so many names.
gaslighting. That's what it was.
Oh, yeah, yes, gaslighting,
Gaslighter.
love bomber, gaslighter.
Right. So
Yeah,
just to take those three and give us a description, because not one really fits the other, but there's red flags within each description. So please.
exactly. So a gaslighter is really changing your view of reality. So, Angel, if I told you that the sky is purple and you were like, no, 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 it's blue. Well, my manipulation tactic for you, and it could involve other people, it could involve your mom, it could involve a child, it could involve friends. I incorporate them to all convince you that the sky is purple. So
Yeah.
we're changing your view of reality.
Give me an example, more a clear example, because I mean, I know that gaslighters turn anything around on you. Like you make a complaint, like you're really shouting at me right now. Then all of a sudden, gaslight, from my understanding, is like a tsunami of opinion from the gaslighter that makes you second guess, like, wait, is it my problem that I think that they're yelling at me? That kind of thing. So give me a really clear example of that.
So one of the biggest terms that you'll hear after someone has gaslit you is you're overreacting or that wasn't me. You have no proof that wasn't me, even when presented with proof. So I'll give you a personal example. I saw notifications on my ex's phone popping up like it was lighting up at night over and over and over. Each time a notification, it was like popcorn happening over on the desk of lights going off. So I grab his phone. It's the middle of the night on my birthday, and I look at the phone and it says, "Ashley Madison, you have a message." Well, if you know Ashley Madison, it's that the cheaters, the married people's cheating website, right? It has a big controversy.
No, I didn't know that.
10 years ago, politicians, judges, you name it, the list came out and a huge downfall. There's a documentary on Netflix about it. Very good to watch. So I saw these Ashley Madison notifications and I'm like, what? What is going on? So I take his phone into the bathroom and start taking screenshots.
Huh?
It was never going to be a he said, she said. I'm a
Mhm.
Virgo. I'm all about details. So started taking screenshots and then I confronted him with it. He was like, that wasn't me. I'm like, it's coming from your email. What do you mean it's not you? Tiffiny, we had a contractor in the condo doing the bathroom renovations. It was him. It wasn't me. I would never do that to you. Well, how does the contractor, number one, have your email address? Number two, it's going to your phone. So
Right.
that means, especially with Ashley Madison, men pay to be a part of it.
I didn't know that.
So he paid for it to go to your email, highly unlikely,
Mhm.
right? But he had me so convinced it wasn't him.
So he gaslit you and said whatever you're seeing, which is total proof, is
Total
wrong.
is totally wrong.
Wow. Okay. So now, okay, we got that clear. What's a narcissist?
So a narcissist is a personality disorder. It's really hard to non-clinically define one because that is such a clinical designation, but the non-clinical side is they have narcissistic tendencies. There is typically a list of 9 things and they need to do 5 of them or be a check mark on 5 of them. So things like grandiose behavior, they always need to be the center of attention. All eyes have to be on them. It is nothing to do with you. It's all about a mask. So they're hiding something. It could be hurtful, hateful, embarrassing, whatever it is, whatever emotion is behind that, they have put on a mask. And a narcissist only allows you to see that. If you start seeing behind the mask, it gets violent. It
Mm,
gets violent with words, it gets violent with physical things. It really is the best definition of a narcissist, like non-clinical, is a mask
mhm.
that someone is using.
I was married to one once. And so everything in our lives, even when his brother got sick and died, it was about him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything was about him. So now tell us how you knew. So you've experienced being in a relationship like this. When was it? I mean, you got red flags. When was the first time where you started paying attention to the red flags? Or how did you know you were in an abusive relationship?
So in the beginning, you think, oh my goodness, this person is so, like looking back, it's way more clear now. But looking at from when I was in that situation, the first time someone told me outside of our relationship, someone told me that I was in an abusive relationship was 4 months in. And that scenario was extremely interesting. And God bless this guy. I've gotten back in contact with him and I've apologized profusely because he was a target of my ex, like hands down. So we're on social media, right? Most of us have some type of a past. We have pictures with people that we don't have relationships with other than friends, right? And I did bodybuilding for 2.5 years. And so I have friends at the gym that also did bodybuilding and powerlifting. And we were on a bodybuilding team together. And so we would do selfie Saturday. And we did stupid, silly, like, pictures. So there was one where we did, like, the glute pose where, you do the little twist and kind of like, who's got better glutes, whatever.
Yeah.
And so my ex saw that picture. It wasn't even on my social media. It was on this guy's that I'm in the picture with, who could be my son. Like, he's literally half my age. So, whatever in Hollywood, it's not happening in my life. I'm not going for half my age, right? So we have this picture. My ex didn't like it. And so there are many things that he didn't like on social media. So he was like, have them take that down. Well, I sent a message to this guy saying, hey, can you take it down? Blah, blah, blah. I'm in a relationship. He doesn't find this respectful, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, tough. It's my picture. I can put it up on my social media. Well, my ex lost it. Lost it. That means that you're sleeping with him. How dare you think more about him than you do about me? Like, laid it on thick to the point where you need to get this taken down or you can forget about a relationship together.
Over a picture.
Over a picture, to the point of hiring an attorney, sending a cease and desist letter, the whole 9 yards. I mean, I spent $1,000 just on the attorney to get this handled.
Oh, okay.
And then I got backlash of, oh, you're changing your passwords. He needed control over everything. Passwords, emails, whatever. My phone. He sent me to work without my phone numerous times. He's broke my phone several times.
Wait, he sent you to work without your phone, like, like you were being punished or something, like a
No,
kid?
he was I called it hunting. He was hunting through my phone for things to attack me on.
So when did you know? When did the light bulb go off? Like, this is not normal. When did that happen?
Well, even during that part, I thought I was like, well, compromise. I'll cut things off with whatever guy. It doesn't matter. It was probably the first time that we got in a blowout fight, and he kicked me out of the condo. It's a long story about the fight. I won't go into all that, but he kicked me out of the condo, took my key, kicked me and my dog out. I got a hotel room down the street, and because he still had all my stuff, and basically text messaging me of, are you going to come over and give me a BJ? Well, no, you just kicked me out. I'm tired. I'm crying. I'm hungry. Well, I'm hungry too, right? The narcissist. I'm hungry too. Well, you have a full fridge of food that I've made for you, and you're in your own home. You're in your own environment. I'm in a hotel room. Well, they have the vending machine. You're fine. And I still went back. It took me 5 times to leave finally. But at that point, I was like, there's something wrong. Like, there
Mhm.
is something seriously wrong. And it was right before that night that I put a little listening device. So I heard what went on when he kicked me out. He kicked me out on purpose
Mhm.
because
So
he had
not
someone headed over to the house
not that night, but
that
5
night.
times later, you put a listening device so that you could.
No, that first night.
Okay. So you could go back and hear the conversation so you knew you weren't crazy?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he
Alright.
had me so, like, foggy that I thought I was overreacting. I thought I was hearing things. I thought I was seeing things. I mean, it I will never again be put in that position.
Right, so it sounds like he was not only a narcissist, but a gaslighter. He gaslit you.
All of it. Manipulator, coercive control to the 10th degree. Absolutely.
So what did it take for you to finally, okay, once you decide, "I need out," now what did you have to do? That's a toughie.
It is. It is. So when I left the 4th time, it was during a hurricane, and it was I mean, that's how bad I needed out at that time, and at that time, I had then started talking to a therapist online. I used betterhelp.com or better it's called BetterHelp. I don't remember it's .org or .com, whatever, but they're amazing because you can do all online chatting. You don't have to physically go sit with someone. You don't have to schedule an appointment. It's literally you can chat with them 24/7,
Is
and
that
I needed that.
targeted for abusive relationships to get out
No,
or
just in
any
general, any type. So amazing organization, depression, any of that kind of stuff, all falls in their purview, and they have different therapists that work in between their normal clients. But I was online chatting with her, and I'm like, I don't feel normal. Like I feel like I'm going crazy,
Mhm.
and almost to the point where I felt like I needed to hurt myself to know that me hurting myself was real. And I'm not talking like suicide talks. I'm just talking about like when kids do cutting or something to like break an arm or, something to like hurt.
Yeah.
So I knew like my brain knew what hurt was and I could physically feel it to have the two match up. Like it was just like I felt I was going that crazy. And at that point, I was like, okay, I have a storage unit. I can start buying things from Amazon and send it to those little off-site little boxes that you punch in a code and it opens up the door. So I started doing that. I started packing up the condo with items I was taking to Goodwill, but it was going over to the storage unit. So I was slowly like pulling things out. But at the same time, he had cameras up all over the condo. So if he was in Utah at work and I was at the condo, well, why are you doing this? Why is the camera off? Why, like, I mean, I was imprisoned in that condo. Gorgeous condo, 10th floor on the beach, gorgeous. But I was in prison.
Wow.
He
Okay.
made me sleep with the lights on.
So he could see you.
No, in general, like, he was in the condo with me, and we got in a huge fight, and I went out to the sofa. He goes, "If you're gonna sleep out here, you're sleeping with the lights on." And he turned on the lights, and I turned them off. He came back out and turned them back on.
Oh, wow.
Like, just awful, awful human being, awful. But he was godly. And that's a whole other,
That
thing
is
to go down.
yes, the facade in and of itself through
Yeah.
I know that one too. Yeah.
Yeah. But, going through that and putting those plans in place, so the camel or the straw that broke the camel's back is I was back with him. I was on the condo that we had a bedroom, 2 bathrooms, and then a living room that he had a desk out in the living room, and I kinda worked in the bedroom when I was working from home. And I was on the bed on the phone with a client, and he came in, dropped his drawers, and basically demanded a BJ.
Okay.
And I was like, I have another hour of work. I'm on the phone. He lost it. If you're not going to give me what I deserve, I'm going to find someone who will. And I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, you will. Like, I literally lost it right then. I was like, I'm done. I can't, like, he had tried to get me fired numerous times, and here was another attempt to try to get me fired so I would be dependent on him.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Strong.
I had cleared out most of my stuff. I mean, I left behind my toaster, oven, all my I mean, I was married in 2008 to 2010. I had amazing wedding silverware that I still had from Crate and Barrel. I left everything. I literally left everything. I left with nothing
Yeah, and
except
that
for what I
that
could
is a
put.
common story when you wanna just get out. Sometimes you just have to leave it behind. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry about
and then he
that.
held some of my stuff hostage for the longest time. Well, if you gave our relationship the same attention you're giving these items, we would have been fine.
So you
No,
must okay, so you decided and you went so where did you go? You had a storage unit, you didn't sleep in there.
I didn't sleep in there. I escaped to a Holiday Inn Express because I knew they took my dog because I had escaped there before. And then I went on Zillow and found a little rental house that was available and fully furnished. And
And
somehow
you
he found out where I was living as well. Yeah,
so at least you had your own resources. So you weren't like had an empty bank account and you're trying to save your life.
right.
That's good.
Yes.
Okay.
I
So
didn't even know there were all the resources that are out there now. Like, I had no idea.
yeah.
If I had only known, I definitely would have tapped into those, but,
And maybe that's something that women do need to know because I've had friends that have had to escape, couple of different women friends in my life, and there are resources. I don't know if people know how women or when or whatever know how to get to them. Is there, can you give us a little nugget right now? I mean, where do you go? you're trying to escape, you're like just you, one human, maybe a dog and the clothes on your back. What do you do?
So if there's violence involved, call the police. Call an emergency number, call 911. If you have a police person on speed dial, like if you've been in a police altercation, having the police intervene before, call that person, because each time you try to leave and go back, and this is, it's awful to say this, but I'm going to say it because it's the truth. Each time you go back, you're giving the abuser permission to do more, and it will escalate. So each time is worse. And especially if they put their hands on you, like around your neck, you could be unalived because you are now cracking that mask. You're escalating the tension in the situation by leaving because they've been sucking the energy from you, and they're at their last wit. So anything could happen in that scenario.
Okay.
So be careful.
Right.
If they're out of town and you just need to escape, I have it on my website for my nonprofit.
Okay.
Domesticshelters.org is a great resource. You plug in your zip code, it's all over the country on local shelters that you can go to. There are articles that you can read about, am I being abused, all that kind of stuff. For me, it was about reading and learning, because I didn't think I was being abused. It didn't, like, until certain things happen, like getting punched, getting spit on, getting shoved into corners, thrown down, like all of that stuff. When those things happened, then I was like, I'm in a dangerous situation. But before that, I was like, oh, that won't happen. This is fine. This is just normal arguing. Like, I was delusional through all of it. I was trying to
Wow.
believe the best in him.
So it sounds like you've experienced like some serious physical domestic violence, not
Yeah.
just the mental.
And he was double my size. I mean, he's 6'2", 250, big dude on steroids in the gym, like anger issues.
So I'm sitting here wondering, what if he hears this podcast? Are you
I don't care.
good? All right.
It's
Okay.
going out loud. I know how to protect myself. I'm getting certified in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I also conceal carry. So if he wants to have that fight, have
Wow.
that fight. I
Wait.
now have a whole support system and a whole network with the local police, local domestic violence shelters. I mean, I have absolutely put my fingers in the community for this reason alone. I mean, he is still local. He actually saw me at my gym that's not the closest gym to him, and he continued to come back.
Wow. Well, so this is good to know. I mean, right here is as a moment to let listeners know that if you are, if you think you are or are in a situation like this, there is a support network. You
Yes,
don't have to be scared. You just got to get out.
you just
Get
have
out.
to get
You
out.
will be protected and helped. Is this correct?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, because that's the scary part. It's like I can get out, but he's going to find me and he's going to kill me.
There are, when you call the police, if your life is in danger, you can get a protective order put in place, an order of no contact, and this is in any state. Each state handles it slightly different, but there's a no contact order that if they violate, you can call the cops. You know, if they get arrested, they're going to be angry. That's where knowing how to protect yourself, enroll yourself in a self-defense class, get some of the basics. And it's not necessarily, when I say self-defense, sometimes it scares women, and it's not meaning to do that.
Hmm.
What I mean by self-defense is, how can you leave that situation alive, right? It is about separating yourself, creating distance between you and your attacker. Most of the attackers are known assailants, are known attackers, like an intimate partner, a boyfriend, girlfriend, parent, uncle, bagger at the grocery that you see all the time that you tip. I mean, you just don't know who these people are, but an intimate partner situation, they're going to get in closer to you, into your circle of comfortability,
Hmm.
because you know them.
Hmm.
But if they're in that circle, they can actually create more damage.
Sure.
There's the sexual assault positions, them sitting on top of you, punching you,
Ugh.
strangling you, all of that kind of stuff. It gets very, very dangerous.
Okay, Tiffany. Yes. So let's move into you got out, you got help, you got in your own place. What what got you to write a book? Tell us about your website. I mean, at some point you had to make yourself safe, feel strong enough, powerful enough. I'm not the crazy one, and that probably takes a lot of help because you think you're the
Long
one.
time. Yeah,
I'm the wrong one. That's hard. I know that's a position in a abusive relationship is finally realizing it's not you
yeah,
and you can do something. So
yeah,
you did that, and then you turn back around though and you wanted to help other women or other people being abused. That's fantastic. I mean, we can see why, but give us your why and how you are helping people in with the most impact.
yeah. The first thing, like you said, was realizing I wasn't crazy. The second thing was the guilt and the shame of allowing myself to be in that situation, of not recognizing it sooner, of not escaping sooner, of shutting it down, because the old me would have not even put up with that. But my frequency and my energy was at such a low point because I was in a short-term relationship with a guy I really, really liked, but it just wasn't he's a good guy. I have a great fondness for him still, but it wasn't the right match. So, you have these ups and downs of breakups and dates and frustrating times and all this kind of stuff. And then meeting someone at the dog park, I'm like, whoo, you know, he's mirroring me, little did I know, of we like to do all these things. We like to go here. All of this stuff was so similar. So it became so comfortable.
Mhm.
So how did I allow myself not to see through that shame and that guilt? Because I could have stopped it very early on if I was more aware. So understanding that side of it, healing took a lot of time. And then conversations with women of, this is the situation that I'm coming from, crying through these conversations, right? Because I still have night terrors of him, like, still to this day. I wake up in, like, head to toe sweats because of him. But realizing that, telling these women, "You are not alone.
Mhm.
I am not alone. We're here together. If we can share this darkness, it becomes light."
Right?
So, shining that light into that side of it, because it's not talked about enough. We feel too guilty about it. And the more I talked about it, the more people were like, you need to go here and talk to this person. You need to tell more people. You need to have conversations with more women.
Mhm.
And so, as these conversations happened, I met a gentleman at an entrepreneur networking brunch. And he's like, well, I help people start nonprofits. And I'm like, "Oh, ding ding, I'm supposed to meet you today. For some odd reason, we crossed paths."
Mhm.
And so, with his help, started my nonprofit. It's called Ignite Her, for Hope, Empowerment, Resilience is the HER. The website is igniteher.org. And so through that, we have three main pillars. One is safe exit strategies. So that's the mental side of it, how to get your mind right and out of that situation. It's self-defense, so getting your body out of it. Yoga, ridding the body of, like, the trauma that's been built up into it. So all of those things kind of go into the safe exit strategy. Then support and education, because education about all of this is so important. The more you know, the more you can avoid
Right.
or call out. And then, of course, connection to resources, to local resources, because I'm in, like, the Clearwater, Tampa area. And so I built up this area with the networking and such. So starting that, I was like, this is so amazing. Having a place where women can ask questions, where they're not having to search online, and finding stuff in one spot, like at one of our workshops.
Mhm.
Like, some of the questions: is it rape if it's my husband? Yes, it is. If you said no, it's rape. Who gets arrested when we call the cops? Having those discussions. Is calling 911 and ordering a pizza, is that a real thing? To get someone to come to a cop to come to your house for domestic violence? Yes, it's a real thing. So, kind of uncovering these things. Yeah, uncovering these things so women don't have to search for them and be in danger of it being found on their phone like it would have been for me. That was the design behind Ignite Her. And then really my discussions with everything on the nonprofit side, I was like, I just really want to help more people in a different way, a tangible way. And so diving back through emails from my ex, audio, because again, I have it all recorded,
Mhm.
of him cheating on me. I have him screenshots of the Ashley Madison. I have screenshots of him ordering a guy to have sex with him in Utah. Like, I've got screenshots of all of it. So it's never going to be he said, she said. I have receipts.
Yeah. Wow.
And being able to tell people how to help someone like me, but with my story woven through it. And what did help me is a checklist. Do they exhibit this? Yes, yes, yes. Oh my God, I'm in a domestic violence relationship.
And this is on your website, but this is in your book, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Your book, Behind the Smile?
And it's also available for sale on through my nonprofit site,
And the nonprofit site again is
org.
igniteher.org, and Behind the Smile through your website, but also on Amazon.
Yep. Also on Amazon, Books a Million, Walmart, anywhere you can buy books online, it's available.
So Tiffany, if somebody is out there wondering right now, it's like, she's striking a nerve. I'm not sure, but I sure would like to know for sure because I have an inkling. How can they reach out to you? Because you're here and you're on my podcast. So can
Yeah,
they somehow
absolutely.
reach out to you and say, I'm not sure, but through your website?
Absolutely. Yeah. There's ways to contact me through my nonprofit site. There's a contact form. You can go through my tiffinynewton.com site. My email's at the bottom. They're more than welcome to reach out either way.
That's fantastic. So give us a word of inspiration before we close out today. To the people, to anybody and everybody, but to the people that are questioning but scared. What's
Yeah.
your word of inspiration?
First and foremost, trust your gut. If you have anxiety, that's not always excitement. We sometimes confuse the two, like the butterflies. Um, isn't always excitement. It can be a danger sign. So pay attention to what your body is trying to tell you and listen to it.
Ding ding.
That's probably my biggest thing.
Yeah. Well, that's what my book's about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Issues in your tissues and what's messing
Yeah.
with your messages.
Even the artist Halsey talks about, and I'm trying to think of the actual, it's in the song Graveyard. It talks about butterflies not being a good thing.
Yeah, that's I think that's actually a nugget we might end on. Is
Yeah.
excitement with somebody is to really check it to see which pathway it is. Is it fear or is it real excitement?
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's
Yeah.
really interesting, Tiffany. Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you for
thank
being on
you.
the show. Thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for getting out of that relationship. Thank you for being empowered enough to come back around into the community and say, I want to help. And for igniteher.org and tiffinynewton.com and Behind the Smile at all the bookstores online. So, Tiffany, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
That was Tiffiny Newton. Thank goodness for her work in the world for domestic violence and for helping men and women, whoever's being domestically violated, to get free, to have the courage and to know that there's support. Tiffiny Newton. If you can remember anything, just remember that name, tiffinynewton.com, and you can go from there if you think you might be in a situation that you need to get out of. So, thanks for listening to The Upshift. I'm Angel Howard, and I'd love to get to know you better. Send me an email at angel@angelhoward.co, that's C-O, or come on over to my website, angelhoward.co. If you'd like to do a deeper dive into your own body's messaging, go get my book at Issues in Your Tissues on Amazon.com, or invite me to speak at your next engagement. I will make it fun, I promise. All right, until next time.